Massive news has shaken up the Formula One grid amidst the Las Vegas GP, and it seems like Andretti will be granted an entrance from 2026 onwards after the latest push from the Department of Justice and all of the changes that have happened in Liberty Media's leadership. Whether or not Cadillac will join them sooner rather than later, we'll just have to wait and see. But with Andretti's entrance into the sport, has the USA cemented its place as a long-term partner, and more importantly, is this going to lead to more tracks in the North American continent? One of the greatest sagas in the Formula One world that has been ongoing for years is likely coming to an end, as Racing News 365 are reporting that Andretti have likely been granted a spot on the grid as the 11th team, something that Formula One and the FOM have strongly opposed in the past couple of months. Even though the American squad has seen Michael step down as the CEO of the team, his father and the former Formula One champion Mario said that this is something for the greater good of the team, and now we're likely to see that happening in real life. The new majority owner of Andretti, Dan Tauris, who replaced Michael, was seen at the Las Vegas GP on Thursday, and according to sources apart from Racing News 365, such as the Associated Press, F1 and the FOM, could have a decision to grant the General Motors backed entry a spot as the 11th team on the grid in the coming weeks. This is a massive development in the right direction, and this is something that we've been hoping will happen for quite some time, because it will finally give Andretti the scene to show that he can shine as bright as he invests in the facilities all around Europe and the USA. The FOM and F1 had a strong stance that as of now, Andretti isn't proving that they can bring more worth to the sport, and they will take away the prize money that are given to the 10 teams at the end of the season. However, after Renault has opted out of the engine program from 2026 onwards, F1 has found itself in a very hairy situation. For the investors of the sport and for the greatest business picture, it's never good when you can have engine manufacturers withdrawing, and here is where Andretti can play his cards right, which is why a 2026 entrance with an engine supplier from another team is likely possible. Cadillac could enter the sport with their own engine as early as in 2027 or 2028, which means that for the first couple of years, Andretti would have to race as a customer, and that shouldn't be too big of a problem because they're going to need a couple of years to accommodate to the sport nevertheless. Even Audi themselves said that they are behind in development, and they've been granted access way before Andretti, so to cast stones on the American team before they've even proven anything is definitely not the right mindset to enter this situation with. Be that as it may, one of the strongest oppositions that Andretti found regarding entering the sport, Toto Wolff, has suddenly changed his stance, and when talking about the potential entrance of Andretti, the Austrian went on to say, "We have an obligation, a statutory obligation as directors, to present the standpoint that is the best for our company and for our employees, and we have done that. I think if a team can add to the championship, particularly if GM decides to come in as a team owner, that is a different story. And as long as it is creative, that means we're growing the popularity of the sport, we're growing the revenue of the sport, then no team will be ever against it. So I am putting my hope in there." Now, there is a key situation that needs to be decided here, and that's whether or not the sport will allow Andretti to enter as a team, or will it have to be Cadillac as a branch of GM, because as Wolff said, they have nothing against engine manufacturers to enter the sport, such is the case with Audi. This gives the grid more value and stability, but on the other hand, Andretti is a businessman and a person who invested a lot in entering the sport, to the point where his team is already testing a chassis for the 2026 season, even though a green light is yet to be given by the most important sides, the FOM and the F1. Be that as it may, the most important thing that needs to be noted here is that these developments happened after two massive events. The first one being the restructure in Liberty Media, which saw Greg Maffei stepping down as the CEO, and the second one being Trump winning the election, as he was previously seen at the Miami GP in the McLaren camp. Greg Maffei has issued a stance on the restructure of Liberty Media, and as of now, he firmly believes that nothing will change. It's just part of something that has been brewing for quite some time in the background. Maffei has been replaced by the chairman and founder of Liberty Media, John Malone, and when addressing this situation, the former CEO of Liberty that turned the sport into what it is today said, "There will be another chapter at Liberty, but I got to declare victory on the ones that I did. We've had some great deals. We've been very lucky, had some great management teams drive them, and it seemed like a good time to say all of the table is cleaned up there. The stage is set, and my contract was expiring at the end of the year, and I thought I'd go check out another chapter. I'm going to continue to be an advisor. I'm going to continue to be on a bunch of our boards, including Live Nation and Charter, but I've got one more act in me." What is even more important is that he was the one opposing the move of Andretti very strongly, because this is something that has been said publicly, according to Mario Andretti, the former Formula One champion and the son of Michael. Mario said that during the Miami GP weekend, there was a meeting between him, Maffei and Dominicali, as he was supposed to say how he is going to bring value to the sport and nudge the naysayers in the right direction, to which he received a shocking response from Greg. And when elaborating about this, he went on to say, "I was asked to go on a breakfast event with Mr. Dominicali and Mr. Maffei, and just as I was trying to explain that to Stefano, Greg Maffei, Mr. Maffei broke in the conversation and said, 'Mario, I want to tell you that I will do everything in my power to see that Michael never enters Formula One.'" I could not believe that. That one really floored me. We're talking about business. I didn't know it was something so personal. That was really, oh my goodness, I could not believe it. It was just like a bullet through my heart. Obviously, the absence of Maffei is now changing things a lot, because we've seen that the Las Vegas GP generated $1.5 billion in revenue last year, so you would normally expect from American parties to be interested as part of the sport in terms of having a team on the grid, not just investing in already existing ones. And the fact that Donald Trump won the election speaks a lot, because he's been vocal about the sport and has been a great supporter of McLaren. But what is even more important is the fact that he has a campaign of making America great again, which means that having an American team that can compete in the sport will only go to show that he means business and nothing else. Even Jack Ploy reported about this situation a couple of days ago, saying that the push of Andretti to enter the sport all of a sudden and the hiring of personnel from other teams has definitely got something to do with Trump winning the elections, because if the Department of Justice is on the side of Andretti and if the president of the country wants to see an all-American team on the grid, I don't think that F1 would be wise to turn down an offer like that. The details would have to be worked out when it comes to the engine supplier, but nevertheless, it's not something that can't be fixed in a short period of time. And with all this in mind, it looks like we are going to have an 11th team that will probably have 2 American drivers, which would further promote the sport in the States to a level of maybe seeing circuits in cities like Chicago or New York. Do you think that Andretti deserves a spot in the sport? And if so, do you think that he'll increase the value of Formula One now that there is a new presidency in both Liberty Media and the USA? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to know more about the drama that's currently ravaging Mercedes and Hamilton, make sure to check out the video that's appearing on your screen right now.